Hey, Slàinté, y'all. Welcome. It's Tuesday night. It's Scotch on the Bayou. It's time to gather, have some drams, have some fun, check in with our friends. I hope you have had a great week. I hope that those who went through Turkey Day came out okay, and then you had a nice nap after in between football games. I know that's we had a great one with my family and really enjoyed it, and the food was incredible as always. Thankfully we don't eat like that every day. But yeah, it's just really nice to be with just some downtime with the family and all. But want to say we got some folks coming in. I'm excited about tonight. As you can hear, I'm still a little croupy. So I'm gonna third Tuesday in a row when I brought this crud back on the plane from Glasgow. So again, I don't understand how anything lived with all the whiskey I had been drinking. But yeah, just bear with me with the and the water drinking, and we'll get through this because I'm excited about this smoky and sweet category of such that we're going to talk about tonight. Um, Looking at who all is in. Hello, Tony. Tony's going to catch on the replay. But yeah, definitely thinking about this cold weather, getting you thinking about that. The smoky drams. And hey, George, good to see you, my friend. I'm excited to spend most of my December with you at 1 hour a day at a time. More about that in a little bit. But yeah, the perfect dram for this kind of weather, right? In the cold snap and have something really smoky. It's awesome. Good morning, Andrew. I hope you're doing well. There's going to be a lot of participation tonight. So I definitely want to hear what everyone's favorite smoky and sweet dram is. And even if it's not the sweet part, I particularly nailed on that because one of my favorites for this time of year is smoky and sweet. And then I started looking at the others in my collection and was like, I see a theme here. But goodness, good seeing you, Andrew. First snow, Michigan. Okay, I understand. We were in the 50s today, which was kind of chilly, but we'll be mid 70s by Friday. So, yeah. Goodness. Hey, Tater Dom is in. Good to see you. Molasses as well. Hello, everyone. And Sugar Kitty, meow to you, my friend. Too Slow is in. Hello there. Good to see you. Yeah, just definitely want to see what everybody's favorites are. Jimmy Jazz, hello, my friend. Good to see you too. And Martin Whiskey Franco. Cheers, Slàinté, y'all. Hey, Ian, good to see you too. Way down on the other side of the world. Yeah, you'll have to tell me if there's any Australian or New Zealand smoky whiskeys that smoky sweet kind of that you're digging down there. Pete hit, hey Frank, good to see you. Thanks for being here too. Appreciate it. And Martin Fielder's in. Hey, a big slungy y'all to everyone. Awesome. Look at you. Hey, what's up, crazy people? You got it like this. I love it. Great seeing you, friend. It's awesome. And then my buddy up north, up in the northern part of the state. Yeah, Mark JG. Hey, friend. Awesome. Uh, let's see. Hey, Donna. Good to see you. Hello from Mill Valley, California. So we got East Coast, West Coast. We call it Third Coast down here with the Gulf. But yeah, it's great seeing everybody in. John's in. Hey, haven't seen you in a while, friend. Good to have you in. But yeah, I think when you start thinking about this time of year, it took us a while down here in South Louisiana. Not gonna lie. I mean, we had a couple of 80-degree days last week. Finally started when I got back from Scotland. It's like the leaf drop happened. Well, you think about where George lives up in Michigan and Jimmy Jazz up in the East Coast, and y'all lost leaves a long time ago. We finally are having our color change on some of our leaves, trees that do change down here. We're subtropical. So it takes, we get it. This is my favorite time of year. My birthday is this time of year. I always want it to be cold and us to beat Alabama for my birthday. Only one of those things kind of happened. And one happened only because I was in Glasgow instead of South Louisiana. But yeah, it's just being able to have this cool, crisp time of year, not winter for us for sure, where it might be for some other folks. And so, what does that invoke when it comes to your drams of choice? I think, whiskey is extremely dependent. Like for me, anyway, what kind of whiskey I want is dependent on mood, on weather, on circumstances, on what I want, food, all of those different things like that. And this time always brings out that smoky kind of whiskey. The first camp dram we did, I filmed in October of the year, and we were down at the camp and we had like a little fire going. It was just smoldering, and the just wisps of smoke were coming up, and it was just a nice little chill in the air. Not too much for, like a coat, but just enough, right? Not too humid either. And it was Talisker 10, that kind of a smoky whiskey, salty malty, not so much sweet, but still that smoky whiskey just fit my mood when it came to that time of year, and the weather. So definitely want to hear from you all on what your favorite smoky whiskeys are. And I got 9 bottles over here. Not drinking all of them tonight. I'm as adorable as I'm gonna get today. But I wanted to share some of the range and kind of the evolution of where I've gone when it comes to smoky and sweet. So yeah, so Sugar Kitties is, oh goodness, you've got flurries in New Jersey as well. Ooh, goodness gracious. Hey, so Martin, sorry guys, had the perfect smoky and sweet over Thanksgiving, an Ardbeg Anthology 13 year, the Harper's Tale, and finished in Sauternes casks. Interesting. That sounds really interesting. So, it's not just sherry for sweet, right? There's all kinds of other maturations like the Sauternes. I've got a couple I will share, but tell me what you're drinking. I'm going to pour my first one here, which is, I think, the one that got me on smoky and sweet. And while I'm thinking about that, okay, so we have two profiles, right? Smoky, peated, pretty much. I think some peated whiskeys, I get far more smoke or char or campfire or ash than I do the earthiness of peat. But then the sweet part, I just find that balance, or the juxtaposition, big word of the day, with the smoke and the sweet, and how they can balance each other out, where they complement each other rather than one overpowering the other. I've had some definitely that do overpower. We've all had a sherry bomb that you're looking in and go, like, is there whiskey in here? Or is it all just sherry? And you've also had something that was so smoky and maybe so peated that no other flavor, it just completely masked everything that might have been going on as well. So what I love about this is, like, salty and sweet, smoky and sweet, is a big flavor profile, especially for us down here in the deep South. And I say that because smoky and sweet to me reminds me of barbecue sauce. I mean, you've got molasses and the tomato and the smoked, barbecue, not quite Lefroy creosote, inside of a barbecue pit kind of thing for barbecue sauce, but it definitely marries well. And there's a reason we love smoked meats down here, and the smoked sausage we put in our gumbo and jambalaya, all of those things, I think lend to the way I particularly like this flavor profile. Yeah. So I'm just looking. I feel bad for y'all that are so frozen right now. Thank God it's not that cold. Thank God it's not that cold. Um, so like I said, some prefer smoke and mirrors, but I think smoke and sweet is much better. Thanks for all you. Oh, thanks, friend. Absolutely. I appreciate it. So this was my OMG moment. I love smoky and sweet. And this is gonna be my first pour. And it is a really good one. I'm gonna do wee pours tonight because I'm not taking medication, but I don't need. Oh my gosh! So this is my first one. Can I get a shout out and get my face out of there? There we go for our Lafroig lore, coming in at a very presentable 48% ABV. Thank you very much. No 40, no 43, 48, 46 with a couple extra. Mm, mm, mm. And I may have a cold, but I can smell and I can taste. So I'm really happy about that. Uh, anybody else having lore tonight? Oh my goodness. I mean, this is probably my second or third bottle. I remember we had a fire in the fire pit outside last year and did s'mores and the whole thing, and just had this bottle of lore, and it presents itself so well in that environment. You get, to me, this Lafroig smoke on lore is a little different than you're going to get on the 10. Um, it's still kind of ashy and kind of campfire. Not so much. It's not as abrasive as just the straight 10. But the sweet on the back end of that smoke. So it's like you get smoke on the nose, you get kind of a ashy campfire taste, and then I get this kind of like a macerated cherry, kind of like a Luxardo cherries, one of those. So it's sweet, but it's also got a kind of a tart bit to it. But the finish, like with a lot of peated whiskeys, kind of builds on the layer. Like every sip, you get a little more, and you get a little more, and you get a little more. And this has always been one of those where I felt like you've got your marshmallow in the campfire, and you're having a great conversation, and you're having a couple of drams, and you're enjoying the people around you, and all of a sudden you realize your marshmallow is on fire. It's blue. It's got yellow flames, and the underside is hot blue, very, very hot. The sugar is burning. And the first thing you do, you start blowing on it, putting it out, right? And you have this bubbled up, encrusted, charred outer coating. You know what I'm talking about, right? That crunchy, charry, probably just absolute carbon. And you pull that part off of the marshmallow. You might have a little marshmallow core still on your stick. You're going to stick that back in. And then that charriness with the sweet, that's what I get on lore. That's my taste memory that pops up every single time I have this dram. Mm, mm. Oh, so Donna, I'm sorry. Donna's saying, um, thinking about the main port pipe from Boonahaven. Ah, yum. Boy, I bet that sounds good. Uh, uh, uh. Goodness gracious. Um, Jimmy Jazz is having the Peat Monster. Oh, another lovely one. The cast strength one at that. Ooh, yum. That sounds delightful. Um, mm, mm, mm. And then what did I see? Oh, molasses. So Tim's got let's see. Um, the Glen Scotia Tawny Port 2020. Oh, okay. So it's a 14-year 2020 festival release. Smoke, sweet, spicy cinnamon, perfect holiday dram. I mean, could you not? I mean, you couldn't get better than that. Now I picked up the festival release. That's the white port, lightly peated. So I had it there at the distillery. Haven't opened it since, but that was one of my 17 that I brought home this summer. Yeah, just another port. I've got a port example here we'll talk about in just a bit. That sounds so good. Um, Sugar Kitty's got a Kilhoman going. Got a couple one of those. So yeah, Andrews, there's so many. There are so many. For Scotch, you'd probably say Lafroy 10 Sherry Oak. What? You mean this one? The Lafroy 10 Sherry Oak. Oh, beautiful, beautiful example. Again, in the Lafroy family. Lagavulin Distillers Edition. Nice. The Kilhoman Saint. I love that. An English whiskey company, a gently smoked PX is good too. And well, cool. I'm thrilled that you especially get to have like English whiskey company or any of the others. I had I guess it was White Peak is the distillery, but the Wireworks. I think you helped me out with that last week. I had one of theirs, but we don't see a lot of English whiskey down here. So I tried to take as many opportunities to have some while I was over this last trip. But yeah, all good. Um, so interesting. On Scorch, you get a lot of sweetness, John. Yeah, totally get that. And to me, the smoke on Scorch is just that. It's char. I get more of a char than a heavy peat or like Glen Scotia Victoriana. I get total char on that. Just hints of smoke, but no peat, of course, at all on that. Mm, cool. So Ian's guys, he's not come across much smoky and sweet Aussie bottlings yet. Have enjoyed some unique flavors from Backwoods, Archie Rose Rye, and Whippersnapper. What a great name. Wheat Built Range. Interesting. Um, yeah, so for those who don't know, Ian's in Australia. But a Scot. I think we're all a little Scot at heart here. Hey, Trooper, great to see you. And you're drinking the Glenmais cast strength. I'm watching me. Yay! Perfect Tuesday. Thanks, friend. Appreciate it. I hope you had a good. I think it's gonna be gumbo weather this weekend. I'm just saying. I'm thinking might be. That's what we call it when we get a cold snap, right? Mark, Trooper, am I right? My Mark, I mean, when we get that first cold snap, ooh, we got to get the gumbo out. And I guarantee you, all of us make really good gumbo. All of us do. Yeah, during your time of day, you're having a cup of tea, water, this type. He's sorry, but you're seeing the Foo Fighters. Oh man, Ah, I have concert jealousness. Have a spectacular time. Oh my gosh, what a concert. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm catching up now, but lore. Yes, yay, lore. Everybody's liking the lore. Um mm. Oh, sugar kitty. Interesting. So define upfront sweet, sweet then smoky is Glenturret 10 peat smoke. Funny. Okay. Um again, one I tried over there, but can't really get here. Can't really get here. Um mm. Yeah, George. I mean, it's one of those things, and it's kind of hard too, especially when you have as many bottles. It's like to replace a particular bottle, especially something that's kind of like a core range with it when there's so many other whiskeys to do. Um, but I don't know. I really like this one. It may not be replaced anytime soon for sure after this one goes down. But mm. So George is starting with Ardbeg Bazarbecue. I, I you gotta hand it to the Ardbeg folks and the naming committees or whoever. I mean, Ardbeg and um, you know, Ardcore, Fermutation, all these crazy names. Yum. And then the Blackadder Lechick 16-year. So is it one of those raw casks with all the little bits of gradu and char cask pits in the bottom of it? Mm, yum. That sounds really good. Um, oh dear. So Donna's dreaming about the main port pipe, and Martin's like, I don't know about the main port pipe. Totally wonder if maybe it will come back around. Interesting. It's one of those things. Hey, Jim's in, Kim Reddick's in. Hey, friend, good to see you. So y'all have already had gumbo. I'm serious, y'all. This is the way we work down here. It gets cold, we got to get gumbo. Uh, it's so good. Um, Anyway, so hey, Baker Drinks, good to see you. So you just floated out a new video. Y'all go follow Baker Drinks. Smoky and sweet single malt sounds delicious. It is just wonderful. Haven't had many, but I'm making a list of stuff to try. Well, let's add to your list, my friend. So after lore, which I'm going to listen for a while, Andrew talked about the sherry cask 10-year, which is also 48%. So that also presents a little bit, nicer than your run of the mill 40, 43s, something like that. One of the things that, in one of my very favorite, I have a lot of favorite distilleries. That's a problem here, but a good one to have is this particular one. Their smoke, their peat, I absolutely love it. Love everything that comes in this nondescript white label. But this was the darling for a long time. This is the actual 56.9 version. I'm trying to remember which year this is, but it's the Kilkerran 8 of this color. OMG, right? I mean, seriously. So we're going to have just a scooch of this and bring some Campbelltown funk into the. I'm serious. It's gonna be a scooch. This one again, sherry matured. This isn't the port one. That one I missed out on, but at least had a dram of it. And it's just smoky funk. I mean, I just went down, 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 down. Just you bring in the funk when you open up the Campbelltown, and but it's very winey to me. It goes past sweet to savory almost on this one. And definitely get more of that sherry sulfury kind of thing on it. A little raisiny, but again, more with a wispy smoke than rather a like an acrid peat or anything like that. I know we were all kind of rushing and trying to find the Kilcairn eights, and and lucked up here, calling one of the liquor stores and saying, "Hey, I know you can get this, but I need you to get a case," because I knew enough people that wanted them, and I think Mark, you were maybe one of them. I know, Trooper, you were one of them twice that we were trying to get these for, and it's just very dense compared to the Lafroig. And then, it's 56.9. Yeah. So, I mean, the ABV is definitely there. But this lure just has just the prettiest smoke on it. Hey, Donald, good to see you. Good to have you in. You have to tell us what you're drinking. What's your favorite smoky sweet? I mean, like you could chew this. It's that dense. Almost like a chocolate raisinette that kind of was in a smoker. Something like that. Love it. Love it. Time to play with my whiskey. How about a Glenallachie 10 batch 7 with a bit of water and a dash or two of Kalila 12. Smells like barbecue. Seriously, play with your whiskey. How much fun is that? I have a buddy who's in our local group, Oscar, and he will take all of his whiskey and he will put like a few drops of Lafroig in every one of them. Whatever he's drinking, he'll drink it, have a couple of sips, then he takes like a little eyedropper and he'll put a little bit of Lafroig. I think it's Lafroig. I don't think it's Ardbeg. I think it's Lafroig. He'll put Lafroig in it and just kind of see how it blooms out that way. Goodness gracious. That is so tasty. Hey, Kevin. Yes, we said Blackadder. Remember that? I think I gave you the dregs of that 15 Lechik, and you gave me maybe this one. Is this one that you gave me? It's the Murray McDavid Lechik. Let me do that. Do that. There we go. 2004 in a sherry cask. This one's at 45.46. No, 46? I can't read that. 46. But yeah, that Blackadder, Kevin, that we had at that bottle share with all the debris and stuff in the bottom. So very good. That was one. Actually, Jim, that's when I got it storied in company when we were up with the dummies that first year, when we finally got to all get together. It was so good. So Donna wants clarification. We're getting back to the main port pipe here. Not so good on the non-peated, but the peated version was very, very good, at least to you. That's all that matters, though. All that matters is that it was good to you. Absolutely. So of course we would all want the Lafroig PX. Yes, travel retail. And the various Carchus bottlings. They are really hard to find here, friend. I know you're just right there, but still. The Lagavulin triple matured for Friends of Classic Malts is another one. Oh, okay. I bet those are all just absolutely fabulous. Did have the PX version when I was at Nyla one year, out in the middle of a peat field. So that was kind of fun. It did taste really good. Just beautiful. Someone had found it and they shared it with the group while we were all cutting peat. It was really pretty cool. Kind of one of those moments that you want to hang on to and not forget. I need a little water to rinse that out. So, hey, Peter, good to see ya. Thanks for being in. Goodness gracious, what else? So we've gone over lore. We've gone over Lafroig 10 and this Lechig. I really do like Lechig. However, I'm gonna bastardize the way that's said. Anyway, it goes between the cold and the southern accent. I don't have a chance. And then, the cult favorite of the Kilkerran 8. But I kind of like, so there's two other versions I have here of SMWS. One of the things I really love about independent bottlers, whether it's Murray McDavid or, Gordon MacPhail, well, they don't really do it as much, I think, as maybe somebody like SMWS, maybe Boutique Whiskey, some of the others that really want to play with their casks and play with their distillate is re-racking, recasking, doing some different things like that. This one in particular hasn't really been recast. It was fully matured in Oloroso sherry, but it was somebody else's cask. That's the thing I love about this particular one. This one was a big highlight towards the end of last year. And actually kind of tripped me up. I had it, dang it. And when we did the blind challenge, when Jason and I were going head to head on the SMWS blind challenge, this one I should have nailed it. But this is the infamous 4.293, which is a cunning combo, 19-year 4.293. Jim, tell us all, which is 4. 4 is your Highland Park, folks. But it's in a Lafroig cask. So you've got your Highland Park in a Lafroig cask, 100% sherry, Oloroso sherry, peated sherry cask. So I just really, again, I'm just going to have a scooch of this. The color on this is amazing. I mean, just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it's, God, what is that? So it's got a hint of peat and wisp of smoke. It's so light on there. You get far more sherry on the nose. But with that Highland Park, spirit. And that's truly an art, I think, that we kind of take for granted sometimes with independent bottlers, because they're taking spirit from other, distilleries all over that have their particular profile. And then they have to match it because sometimes they'll buy casks, but for the most part, the larger ones are buying how many ever 1,000 liters of spirit straight off the still. And then they are taking it and they're putting it in the cask they want. Hence the Lafroig cask for this one. And they've got really know how to marry that particular profile of the spirit from that 4 from Highland Park. What kind of cask would really complement and help build a good whiskey with the spirit of Highland Park, and so doing that matching game, I think, is an absolute art, probably some science in there as well, but I don't think they get enough credit for that. I think a lot of people just think independent bottlers are like, oh, they bought these casks and they're just going to go throw it in a bottle. And that's not the case. I had a lovely discussion with Richard Urquhart from Gordon and MacPhail last year. Last year, still this year in January. It seems like last year almost, at the Victoria Whiskey Festival, and about how, a lighter, more delicate spirit can't take some of these big, heavy handed casks like this, like a big PX cask or something like that. You'd have to have enough substance with enough infrastructure, if you will, of that base spirit to marry with a stronger cask. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Hey, Graham, good to see you. You lucky dog. Y'all, this guy has spent the last week in Isla. He has floated from one distillery to the other. Dude, we have really enjoyed your pictures on Facebook. Mm. And here's a fun fact about Graham. If you don't know, he's not only does he give and show fabulous pictures of his travels and his whiskey adventures, mainly on the Barflies page, if you're on that, but he also takes gorgeous weather pictures, including the rainbow over Isla, which was fabulous. And his pictures are often, not just randomly, but very often featured on the BBC during the weather. So you will see lots of credit G. Fraser on his pictures, because guy's got a great eye for photographing and the world around, and nature, and he's got a hell of a good brain and taste buds for whiskey. And might I say friends? So let me say that too. He's got great taste in friends. Mm. This cunning combo is at 58.5 for a 19-year-old. So it's still got a punch and a half, mainly on the finish. You get more of the char. Well, it's not really more of a char. It's just a flat up smoke, but it's on the finish. Don't get a lot on the nose. Don't get a lot on the front end of the taste. That is more kind of a very robust dark fruit sweet, cooked dark fruit sweet. I try to clarify each time. Is it sweet? What kind of sweet? Is it saccharine sweet? Is it sugar sweet? Is it molasses sweet? And just kind of go through the things. But yeah, that one is just absolutely lovely. Another one. Oh, we only have this much left. Urgh. This is one of my faves, and I probably need to rebottle it and put it in a 4-ouncer or something. But I mean, you could tell they've got the different logos. This is such an old logo. This was Ben Dietrich's pick, Glen Scotia 93.114, barbecue and fishnets. Case in point, smoky and sweet. Absolutely stunning dram. Let's see. Mm. Yeah, just sweet and more it is like barbecue sauce in a bottle. It is with a little fish, with with a little coastal element. I wouldn't say fish. It's not a lot of mackerel going on, but it's definitely got a good bit of that kind of brine to it. It's a little bit. So what did I miss? What's the Mark, the frustrating thing about SNWS, that they only have one, that they go away, that they go poof and you never see it again. So what is the serendipity mix up? A smoky and sweet combination. Was a serendipity mix up a smoke and sweet combination? Might be. I mean, I think it's serendipity when two things that aren't necessarily related work together. That's pretty good. Oh goodness. So here we go. Donna's going for the Adelphi Selection Kalila 12 year. Matured first fill Oloroso. The color is so deep. I bet that is gorgeous. And I mean, I think for all of us that might be students of Isla, in the sense of, if you say Kalila, you have in your mind's brain, your mind's eye or mind's taste buds, if you will, what that kind of peat and smoke is like. You know what Ardbeg's smoke level is like. You know what Bunnahabhain's is barely there, unless it's predominantly a peated whiskey. Same thing with Kilhoman. Kilhoman's almost got a sweeter smoke to me than that. Lafroig is dominant. Lagavulin even has kind of a different, more well-rounded, three-dimensional flair to it, I think. Interesting to see what Ardnahoe's going to end up doing. And even Brooklotti, the things like a Port Charlotte, I mean, one of my favorite, and I would have loved to share that, but the bottle went. I don't think I may have a sample of it still left, but the Turnery Project was one of my all-time favorite things. And it was the epitome of sweet and smoky. And that I ended up, I think 19 people got to have some of that and being able to share that bottle. And that one was just stunning. And it was Octomore, and Classic Lottie and Port Charlotte. So 3, the Turnery Project. And just absolutely stunning. But even their peat is very distinguishable. When you get over into the mainland and you think about the different peated expressions over there, they are quite different based on, away from Isla, especially the type of peat that's used is going to be more heathery. Like peat for Highland Park is light years different than what an Isla peat is. And just very, again, it's there, but there's the peat element, there's the smoke element. And to me, in my brain, they're different. They come together often, but sometimes one is more overpowering than the other. So it's interesting to see how that then marries with something either savory or, say, like more of this Kilkerran, with that sherry maturation was more savory or umami than maybe even really sweet. So yeah, just really interesting. Don't we love to geek over this stuff all day, every day, right? Man, I forgot how good this was. 4.293. May you ever enjoy. So one of my favorite Christmas movies, let's go off on a tangent, is called The Bishop's Wife. Cary Grant, Deborah Kerr, David Niven. Okay, just black and white. Absolutely love this movie. And Cary Grant plays an angel. And there's this professor who is a character in there. And he gets sherry out to, pour for he and the bishop's wife and Dudley the angel, played by Cary Grant. And he pours it, and Cary Grant does all these, miracles. And one of the things he does is he just looks at the bottle like this, and he does this, and the bottle fills up. And now this is a movie from the 40s. That the special effects in this movie are crazy. This bottle this bottle that only has this much left, I would love for Cary Grant to just do this and it all fills up from the top. And every time he would pour somebody some, it would still remain full. That's what you want for all your favorite bottles. Right? Am I right? So one other one I want to share. So who has had the Kilhoman Sauterne? Someone had that. Here is one that is the Madeira, which is absolutely lovely. Let me get that in there. Madeira cast. And I was trying to think if this is one of the specs or this is just the one of the regular ones, not a specs pick. This is the 2021 and it's at 50 ABV. So not just sherry, but sauternes, Madeira, Fino, different types of sherry, Amontillado, all kinds of things. We talked about the main port pipe. And here's one that's not Scotch. This is Andalusia. Now, if you remember, I had Ty Phelps, the founder of Andalusia. It's a distillery west of Austin, Texas, in Blanco, Texas, and had him on. And the year before that, when we all went to the Bastards Ball, when a bunch of us were able to go there, I hand-filled this. Y'all, look at that collar. Oh my gosh. This is a Revenant Oak. It's a peated whiskey. They literally they have a Home Depot shed that does all their peating, where they do all their smoking of their malt. Yeah, this is a peated whiskey in port, and I'm trying to remember which port it was. It wasn't white port; it was just port. So we're gonna have a little bit of this. And this is at a whopping 60.42 ABV. So again, we're just going to have a little bit of it. But yeah, again, color, so pretty. Not a whole lot of smoke on the front end of this. If I remember, this is one that kind of builds up. Melissa says, I am super sweet. We know that. We appreciate that. Oh, goodness. I would have loved the festive night at the Glasgow Whiskey Festival tonight, Leanne. Oh, what did you do? 8 amazing drams and a few of 30-year bottlings. Gee whiz. You live in the Disney world of whiskey, my friend. And you're living right. Goodness gracious. That sounds amazing. I have a few friends who are like, when are y'all just moving to Glasgow? And I'm like, not anytime soon, but I sure like to visit. Oh, goodness. So Peter said that he picked up Kalila 12 sherry casks from Single Malts of Scotland. And we'll open that one soon. Well, that sounds really pretty tasty. Because, again, Kalila just has such a distinct taste. And, I've had Kalila 12. I was lucky enough to have part of a bottle of Kalila 30 that I got to kill with Jennifer down at the camp when she came one time. And yeah, just being able to have that profile, but they're straight up bourbon matured. I've just not really had too much of a exposure to Kalila and sherries. That sounds delicious, Peter. Absolutely. So Ian says that the smoky and the sweet would be nice. Highland and Isla peated whiskey with scallops or a Scottish tablet. I had to learn what a Scottish tablet was. I was like, what's that? But yeah, I'm learning all about different delicacies over there. The scallops, y'all, I can't tell you how good the seafood is. We are very spoiled for choice down here for seafood when it comes to shrimp, crawfish, of course, but all types of oysters, especially char grilled oysters, which is my preferred way of having them. All types of fish, but the salmon never tastes better than in Scotland. The scallops never taste better, but in Scotland, just saying. So yeah, and those sound like really lovely drams. To be able to have that. Um, okay, so we're getting it here first, y'all. Dude, you're able to get some Ardnahoe real whiskey, 3+ years. You know, they've had it longer than that, I'm sure. Lovely subtle peat, should be bottled next March. You've heard it here. Your inside scoop, Graham Fraser on the ground, reporting from Isla. That's awesome, man. Oh, I bet that's so good. So Jimmy Jazz has gone on to the Glen Turret Smoke Peat 10. So thanks George for showing him the way. This is the way. This is the way to it. Goodness gracious. So of course you've got a handful of Andalusia. Andalusia's in your backyard, although your backyard is like 2 states away in most people's geography or countries in the UK as it would be. It's not like totally in your backyard, but it's at least in your state, same state. Just you would think over 60% would be super hot, but this really is not. I am just going to throw a teeny bit of water on there. That was too much, but whatever. So I think I've had enough drams tonight. However, I do want to share one of the bottles I brought back from Scotland, because this, I think, is going to be, Graham, I know you've had it. Andrew, I'm sure you've had it. Anybody else pipe in? I think, Martin, you had last year's version. But our friend Peter Lee was such a godsend. And a girl likes a sale, okay? I like a discount. And when it was made known that a particular entity over there had put this on sale, Peter was so sweet enough to go grab one for me and deliver it during the Glasgow Whiskey Festival. And that would be the Caboken 15. And let me tell you, I love Caboken, old school Caboken. Maybe that's Matt, of course. But y'all, just look at this. I'm so happy. I want to crack it open, but I'm not going to tonight. I'll probably do it this weekend. We've got some whiskey friends over. But this is the 2023 version, fully matured, 15 years, fully matured in Oloroso sherry casks at 50%. The character on here, decadent sun-dried fruits and smoky exotic spices. This is just, I'm really excited about this one. I really am. Love their cool new bottle. I liked the other one that had the smoky, wispy werewolf dog on it, which is what Caboken means. Down here we have Rougarou, which is kind of like our Caboken. But yeah. So Andrew's got a couple of the Kalila Carnegie whiskey cellars exclusive. Interesting. Okay. Very cool. Oh, what's your Christmas whiskey present from Mark going to be, Leanne? I think it was a trip to Scotland that was not planned in this past November, Graham. I think he just kind of looks at me and shakes his head. He just doesn't really know quite what to do with me, but he's ever supportive, and I'm really happy for that. Um, looking through my stash and knowing that I don't have a whole lot of room for anything, I'm probably going to kind of try to curtail the buying some. So I think what I brought back may just well be my Christmas present, but we'll see. We'll see. We can see what we can do. But yeah, so might need to try some of those out pretty soon. So yeah, smoky and sweet, there's a lot you can do with that. Lot that is out there for choice. Um, also, if you have a situation where you just can't really get some of this, let us know. If it's something you've been wanting to try, ping me, ping other people. And you never know what can show up by, you know, we'll beam it over Scotty, something like that. Because it's fun to share. It's fun to do that kind of sharing. Which kind of brings me to another point I want to make. Too, is that I wanted to start putting together some blind challenges. So, first and foremost, those camp drammers, those folks who are members of the channel and supporting the channel, if you'd be interested in doing a blind challenge with maybe one or two other folks during a show, just let me know. You can send me a message on socials or email me. I'll be putting something out on the member channel on YouTube about that. But I've been looking at all this whiskey. I've ordered colored dots. I am inspired by the blind challenge that we had the day after the Glasgow Whiskey Festival that Roy Acavite put together for us, the master of the blind challenge. Thank you. It would be that format because I ain't gonna fix nothing that ain't broke. I mean, he's got it down to a T. And I'm really pretty stoked about that. So if it's something you might want to do, let me know and we'll make that happen. Thursday is St. Andrew's Day. So make sure you raise a toast to the patron saint of Scotland. And I see Kevin raising Kevin's like, yes, please. Yes, please. I'll do that. Yes, please. That would be awesome. Um, and Martin's asking, okay, about that. I'll tell you if I get a lot of peat on it. Time for a dram, put it in a blind for you and Kim. Okay, and Bob. And you can find the peat with the dram with peat. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know. I will definitely do that. Uh, uh, uh. Yeah. What do they say? The road to hell's paved with good intentions. How many times have we promised ourselves to limit that whiskey spending? Yeah. You know, I just, yeah, it's tough. It's tough because there's so many good bottles out there. But you have to also say, if you don't get it, if you at least got to have some of it, it's like that Kilkerran 8 port. I didn't get that one. I love port finished whiskeys. But I didn't get that one. And I'd be sad over it or be happy that I got to taste it at least once. So I'll go with that. But yeah, one of our camp drammers, his birthday is today. Dwayne Large, you all know him. He's absolutely the patron saint of Isla himself. Give him a big shout out and Slàinté, happy birthday to Dwayne today. So that's a really big deal. And the other thing I want to remind everybody as we close in this episode, which I was sure we weren't going to go the whole time because I didn't think my voice would would last, but it did. Yay. Is December 1st is Friday. So it's around the corner. And that is the first day of Advent season as we know it, the time to drink one whiskey a day. If you have not gotten some Advent calendar, it's okay. If you have, there is absolutely no reason to just go buy one. In the chat here, I am posting the link to my video on making your own Advent calendar. You have everything. Every one of you have everything you need to make your own advent calendar. And that is go find 25 samples that you have. I know you got more than that. You don't want to know how many samples I have when I brought 80 home just this summer. You don't want to know how many you have. Make your own advent calendar. If you're part of a group, I'm so very thrilled to be part of the group that's going through with George here. We're starting on Friday of 25 drams, and a lot of fun and a lot of camaraderie and community. But pull up your favorite, drams. If you don't have 25 samples, then ask some people for samples, or grab a couple of bottles that you might have to go with the samples and have one a day. Just have some of the sample every day. You don't have to have the whole sample, but you will be able to get through your samples and report back to the person who gifted that sample to you and let them know what you thought about that dram. That part, that connection is what makes this whole circle of giving complete, because you're giving the feedback to the person who took enough time to say, "Hey, I really want to share this with you." And I've got samples from Graham. I got samples from most every one of you people. The ones from Andrew, I barely have cracked into. And I want to honor those gifts by being able to go through them, post them, hashtag drink your samples, and tell that person who gifted you that whiskey what you thought, how much you appreciated. And when you can, give some samples to other folks who know that they can't get something. The things I took over to Scotland were things I knew that they weren't going to be able to get. One of which was the Ardent American. I knew a lot of folks over there weren't going to be able to get because it was US only. I took my pick of a Maker's Mark private select I did with a local store. I took Andalusia, a Stranahan's cast strength store pick, things I knew that were not going to be readily available over there. That's what folks really like. So make your own advent calendar, share your samples, and thank you for joining me in my cold for another Tuesday at Scotch on the Bayou, and really want everybody to have a good time. I hope you enjoyed it tonight. We've got some really good ideas. I think I have found that I'm going to have to go find a Sherry Kalila. So I may have to buy that bottle. We'll see. Graham's talking about Springbank with a 10-year Palo Cortado sherry bottling. Virtually impossible to get the bottle, sadly. I can't even imagine it showing up over here, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for it and put an APB out on it for everybody in Texas, because that might be the one that gets over there. You saw that? You saw that, Martin? when you go in specs in Dallas. And we'll have to call Bobby and see if he can go to Benny's for us up in Chicago, and keep a lookout for that for sure. Goodness gracious. But yeah. All right. So Camp Drammers, thank you again for all the support, and be looking. Let me know about the blind challenge. It'll be in January. We'll start it up in January for sure. But guys, thanks so much. I hope you have a great week. We'll come back next week and talk about some things. I'm working on my favorite whiskeys of 2023 list, which is really hard. It's very hard to do. But we'll get there. But yeah. So until next week, have a wonderful week. Drink well, be good, and we'll see you. Slàinté, y'all.